NBA Finals Game 5 last night. And let me just say, it is time to call the Nuggets exactly who they are. They're NBA champions. What?
NBA champions, well deserved. I mean, number one in the Western Conference since December of 2022. Held that number one spot all throughout the rest of the season. Went through the playoffs and just did it. And then made it all the way to become the 2023 NBA champions. Amazing. It was an amazing run. I enjoyed it, honestly. So it was cool.
Yes, yes. For those people who said that this series would not be entertaining, it would not be physical, it would not be must see TV, I think it is time for them to apologize to the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. This series was so physical,
Yeah, it was.
so entertaining. I mean, if you thought the Denver Nuggets were soft, you were mistaken. I mean, they hung with the Miami Heat, blow for blow.
If you thought the Denver Nuggets did not know how to adjust and answer to the call each time, if you thought if you thought the zone was gonna be the one, it wasn't. I was like, wow. I mean, what was so cool about this particular series? The Denver Nuggets knew how to figure it out every time. Like they figured it out. Just when we knew that the Heat culture would prevail. Now we never, those who had the Heat to win would prevail. Eric Spoelstra would be able to pull it out. All they needed was grit and grind. And the Denver Nuggets said, "No, you're gonna need a little bit more than that. You're gonna need this.
Yeah.
You're gonna need this talent too." I was like, "Wow!" It was a master. It was almost a master class on how you build a team around a superstar. How that superstar
Hmm.
still do superstar things throughout the whole series, and it's just where we are. Like I can't even the game of basketball, the parity that's needed in the league showed up this particular playoffs. And I appreciated that.
Yes, yes. It is also a blueprint for other teams to say, okay, we can exercise a little bit of patience here. We can develop our team. We do not have to go and get the hottest free agent every single year.
Right.
We can stay together and eventually we can be victorious. And that's exactly what the Denver Nuggets proved to all of us. And a lot of teams in the Western Conference, they're going to have to really take a look at their roster to see can they compete with the Denver Nuggets moving forward because they're not going anywhere.
You know what? I don't know what else needs to be done in the league because if we if teams do look at the blueprint, they would see that the Warriors were successful with the same thing. They built,
Right.
developed their roster, and was able to create a dynasty. Now I don't know what that means for the Denver Nuggets, but the fact that they were able to stay around 8 years, knew what they needed to do, brought in the pieces that would make it work. For me, that is what building the championship roster is all about. Now I get we want these superstars and everything that the media sells us because that's what it was. That's the only reason why the Nuggets could
Mhm.
remotely get any flack for them not being so fun to watch. Well, for me it was fun because I had been watching the Nuggets all season. So I mean that's why I can step out and say that the games and the play the Nuggets do is pretty much phenomenal for me because it was just pure basketball. Like, let's get out here and let's play these games. We don't have to have all these antics to be successful, And I know that the media
Right.
did not sell us, so you guys don't think we're fun to watch. You have all these jokes and memes about what Nikola Jokic does. He's a champion. Where your MVP at? Oh, okay. So again,
Yeah.
it's all about just building what this looks like. And then likewise for Miami Heat. I mean, they came in from the dirt
Mhm.
and did it this season, fought their way through the playoffs, playoffs, and made it all the way here when they were the eighth seed. Like, when will we
Right.
stop? When will the media, when will the NBA stop allowing these teams or these newscasters and the sound bites to only be around a certain number of people and teams. I loved it. I loved it. This is what parity looks like, and until we can get more of that, then we'll always be built streamlined into the same thinking that these players are the only ones that's gonna make this game fun to watch, and I disagree with that. So, Denver Nuggets, good job.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of the Miami Heat, now you talked about the route that they took to get to the NBA Finals, which
Yeah.
was very challenging, right? They have nothing to be disappointed in.
No.
I mean, yeah, they didn't win the NBA Finals, but they were the Eastern Conference Finals champions, right?
Yep.
Jimmy
Hmm.
Butler was the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I mean, he should be happy with the amount of success that they had this season. You know, when they talk about the undrafted players, I mean,
Yep.
now granted, they did not really show up in the NBA Finals, and we
No.
needed more from them. And someone said this is why they were undrafted. And I took offense. I took offense to that because no, that is not why. How about the Denver Nuggets defense was just too great, you know, and they could not figure out how to penetrate it. How about that? Because I don't think Caleb Martin, Max Strus, and Gabe Vincent are any less of an NBA player because they couldn't shine in the NBA Finals. Can we say the same thing about Michael Porter Jr.? He
Yep.
didn't necessarily have a good finals as well. So,
Mm-mm.
and you know, I don't buy into that. I hope Caleb, Max, and Gabe get paid this offseason. They totally deserve it. The Miami Heat, to me, they had a successful season,
Yep.
you know, and that's just what it is.
You know, it's funny people say that about them, and they were playing in the NBA Finals. Do you know how many top 10, top 20, top 30 NBA
Yeah.
players ever drafted never saw a final? Can we talk about that? Where to list
Mm,
that? Because I know it's
right.
there, right? Come on. So don't do that. It's really about being at the right place at the right time, having the right skills to match it, and then showing up. And that's exactly what they did. So no, they have nothing to be ashamed of. Now, are they disappointed? Absolutely. I mean, you don't come this far not to win. So disappointment, absolutely.
Right.
Ashamed? No. They'll reflect back, made it this far. Some players wish they would. And, and I think about these top draft player, top draft picks, and all that noise. I'm like, you still gotta work. It's not easy getting to the NBA Finals. I don't care how you did it. I don't care who was out from the other team that could have potentially, won that match. You still had to work for it.
Yep.
The playoffs are not easy. So let's stop trying to make it like, oh well, they just kind of breeze through, especially with the Nuggets. So they just kind of breeze through. They had to play a seventh seed, they had to play an eighth seed. So what? When they was playing these seventh and eighth seeds, y'all was singing praises about them. Oh, they really balling.
Right.
They just are balling. Now the Denver Nuggets, bypassed them, and in one case swept. And all of a sudden, they just barely they had luck. Well, everybody who wins a championship is on pure luck. Anyway, one roll of the ankle could have took everybody out. Like what? Mm-mm.
Yep.
So
Yes.
no. Denver Nuggets
Yes.
earned that. The Miami Heat should be very, very happy about their run. I mean, it just goes to prove that at the end of the day, you don't really need, watch the media shop these superstars when you got players out here that are really that got it going on. And so the Miami Heat showed resilience throughout their whole playoff run, and they just met up against a team that was just far superior. And the coaching of Michael Malone was phenomenal. Like, I just,
Oh, yeah.
all of that. And
Yes.
so
He
that's what you
fired
want to
me
see.
up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I just love the poise that they had through this whole championship run, the Denver Nuggets, the poise that they had. They could have easily been celebrating. Like, now, I know they were happy when they won the Western Conference championship. I get all of that, but the whole concept of we got one more, we not done yet. And then when they did win the championship, Michael Malone was like, "We want more." I said, "Exactly."
I
Oh,
know. Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a great game for me. The series was really fun to watch, and at the end of the day, the best team won. That's just what it boils down to. So.
Yeah, as I watched the game, I said, okay, who's going to be the superstar tonight? Because we had Aaron Gordon in the last game, but foul trouble really hampered their superstars early in the first and second quarter. And I said, oh man, who's it going to be? So to me, Michael Porter Jr. finally had his game. You know, he carried them in the first quarter because nobody could make a shot.
I
It
know.
was unbelievable. And don't even talk about the 3-point line. I mean, it was just ridiculous. A lot of those shots that were falling earlier in the series did not fall for them last night. And that goes for both sides of Miami Heat as well.
Yeah, Denver shot 5 of 28 from three. Wow.
Ooh, pitiful.
Oh, that was ugly. And then Miami was
Yeah.
9 of 35. So this game was won in the
Oh,
paint. Wow.
mhm.
Wow. Wow. When this is what it looks like when three balls are not being made. This is what it looks like. This is sure. Let me get in here and let me get dirty and get this win. That's what this looks like. We're so used to seeing it raining threes and all of that we forget that there are other ways to win basketball games. There's sometimes it got to get dirty. It got to get like it got to look ugly. I mean, this game,
Yeah.
this championship game 5 didn't even go over 100 points. Nobody. What? The Denver Nuggets had 94 points. What? That's crazy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is. And for the Miami Heat, though, I said, okay, when is Jimmy Butler going to show up?
Yeah.
He played an okay game, but to me, it was subpar. Now, he
Yeah.
didn't really get going until like 3 or 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, where were you, Jimmy? They could have used this energy, earlier in the
Yeah.
game. My goodness, why did he do that?
You know what? Not only that, why did Adebayo just said not this quarter? I'm done.
Oh,
I've done my
yeah,
part. I held y'all on in the first half, but the second half,
yeah,
I'm done. I'm done, y'all. I know he probably in his mind he didn't want to be done, but really, oh, that was
yeah.
really. So
I
can
think
you
he scored
imagine
2 points in the second
two
half.
two points? Can you imagine had he had still been on, what it would have the outcome would have been? So I was like, wow, was he gassed? Banging up against Nikola
Possibly.
Jokic that's a lot of work. Ooh, work.
Yeah, the previous episode, you said that Nicola and Bam were wrestling standing up, and that continued into game 5. I said, oh my goodness, look at this.
No, it
Wow.
was
There
no.
were
Come
a
on.
couple of possible flagrant fouls that the refs missed, though. When Nicola was throwing some elbows last night.
He had to. The way Adebayo was hemming him up, he had to. He had to. You know what? I did not. I don't like seeing smaller guys on Nikola Jokic. He will take advantage of you every
Oh my.
time. It was just.
Ah.
Mm-mm,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
I saw Kyle Lowry trying to do something. I said, what? And I saw Gabe Vincent
Me
trying to.
too.
I'm like,
That's
come
the
on, you
one.
guys. Yeah.
When you at his waist, stop.
So
I didn't
funny.
like it. I didn't like it. All he do was just lean over and just go and get this. Did he dunk? Nikola Jokic is not a dunker. He didn't dunk. There was no
Nah.
posterized plays, but the finesse he has at the rim. Ooh, that man can play some basketball. And he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He led the Denver Nuggets to this championship, 28 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists.
Oh my goodness. I could not be happier for Jamal Murray.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
something about him is just a great story. Coming back from his ACL. Oh, I just loved it. The tears in his eyes. I was like, oh my God, it just really touched me. I said, yeah, players like him, Michael Porter Jr., who had a terrible back injury. The Denver Nuggets took a chance on him. Players like Kentavious Caldwell Pope. I know this isn't his first championship, but just the way that he had to bounce around the NBA, the Lakers discarded him.
Yep.
It's just like, wow. It's just I'm happy to see Reggie Jackson get his championship ring. Even though we didn't see him much in the NBA Finals, but he contributed along the season,
Yes.
to this
Mhm.
championship. So I'm just happy for them. Just couldn't be happier.
I just love the fact that when teams, because the teams loyalty span is very short nowadays. And so for Jamal Murray,
Mhm.
it's similar. His story is similar to the same story that Klay Thompson had when he finally came back from his two injuries.
Mhm.
Came back to a
Yep.
championship. Jamal Murray was finally able to get in rhythm, finally able to be healthy enough to compete, to go this far and then win a championship. That's the stories that the NBA needs to shop more, because those are the ones that shows resiliency, they show heart,
Mhm.
They show, even through adversity, they show teams that will stick with you. You are our guy and we're going to trust you. Like what? You know how many people roll an ankle and they be traded the next 2 weeks? Like it's just I love
Uh-huh.
all of that. And I just think that it's so important to continue to highlight because that is what the game of basketball is all about. I know we got superstars out there shining. I get it, y'all. And we love it. They bring this sort of entertainment that we continue to have to, we continue to consume. I get that. But when stories like that, when the Denver Nuggets can come from no championship to a championship, I kind of felt the same way about the Toronto Raptors. Like they did the same, they were no championship to a championship. Like what? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Jamal Murray, his story is amazing. And woo, good game. Very good game.
I know. I'm just glad they won it at home, so that fans after 47 years they could enjoy it. I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool.